We have this raised bed that's built out of spruce logs, and now I'm gonna clean up the bottom so that it's kind of more flat and level, so that I can put some cardboard as the very first layer for my raised bed. I'm no expert in gardening, just starting step by step. This is first raised garden bed that I've ever built and will be planting. So from what I understand, the reason that you can use cardboard as the first layer is to kind of have a weed barrier. I don't think we have that many weeds here in the forest. We're kind of reclaiming land from forest, but there are trees and all sorts of stuff in the forest, including we have a few invasive species. So I think cardboard is not gonna hurt. And also we have cardboard. If we use that cardboard here, that means we pay less to take it to recycling at the transfer station. So I think that's a win-win. Earlier this year, we ordered a wood chipper, and the packaging, the box for that is ideal for this. It's kind of brown cardboard. It's not like a shiny cardboard. You don't want that because that's might be too many chemicals. So I used up the whole box. First, I kind of cleaned it up, took all the labels off, took any of the plastic tape off, and I took out the staples that hold the box together. So the whole thing should decompose eventually. And now for the next layer, it is HUGELKULTUR inspired. HUGELKULTUR is a German word. It means hill culture. And by putting in decomposing logs and branches and kind of woody stuff, over time it will decompose. As it decomposes, it may give off a little bit of heat. So the raised garden bed is going to be a little bit warmer, which might extend the season a little bit. It also will retain moisture. So maybe there's going to be less watering needed for the raised bed. And we live in a forest. As we're clearing the forest for our home site, there's a lot of rotten stuff in the forest. So we'll pick that up and put it in the raised bed, and we'll have less of woody debris to deal with. This log here has been decaying now for more than a year, and it's quite large, so I will start with that. And now I have 3 logs in. One is very rotten, has been on the floor for probably many years. And then these two have been rotting about at least a year. And that's about the height that I want to fill it, about 1 foot, so that I have a foot for the stuff above that. Matt built this nice soil sifter. It's from 1/4-inch hardware cloth. And our, well, less than a year old, but our old wood chip pile from last year, it contains this like dark stuff that looks like already composted soil, and just started with just wood chips and leaves. So I want to try it out and see whether I can sift these wood chips at all to get kind of finer level compost out of this. It got some stuff coming through, so let me try doing some more. So I am getting some dirt out of it, but I think this would be way too slow to create something as a compost layer for the raised bed. I'm back at filling this HUGELKULTUR bed. It was snowing yesterday, so now you can see a little bit of snow on the ground. But the goal today is to fill it about 1 foot deep. And I'm going to fill it with all sorts of woody material, logs and branches and stuff like that from our forest. I think I'm done now with the woody layer. This raised bed is about 2 feet deep, and I'm targeting 1 foot depth for all these logs and branches and cut off pieces. So it feels really good to use up all this woody material and clean up the forest and clean up our site. Because I put here some like pretty rotten logs, I hope that this bed is going to get going pretty quickly, but it still can take more than a year to get it going. And that's the idea behind HUGELKULTUR. So next layer in my raised bed, I'm going to put our new wood chips to kind of push them in the gaps as much as I can and provide a uniform layer. And our wood chips have a lot of pine or spruce needles in it, so hopefully that provides a little bit of nitrogen too in all this carbon mass that will help it to compost better. Well, that was easy enough. I just took 1 bucket from the wood chip pile that we have and dumped it in here and kind of tried to press it in all the cracks and so on. And I think it came out pretty good. I measured the sides of how deep this is and how much space there is left to the top of the edge, and it's about 10 inches, which is fine for the layers that I've planned. The next layer, I thought I would mix in some more organic stuff, so I will rake up some leaves around here and put them in there as a very thin layer. Okay, so now we have a light dusting of another organic layer, which in this case is leaves. For the next layer, I will add back the native soil that we dug out when we put in the garden bed. As you can see, that pile is not large at all, and that is why we need to go and buy some topsoil compost mix. Hopefully in future years we'll have generated enough compost to fill our garden beds, but since we're starting completely scratch from completely raw forested land, in the first year we'll need to bring some in. So I put on some soil just to cover the leaves so that they don't blow away. And the next layer is going to be compost from our kitchen scraps. That we just started about a month and a half ago, so it's not broken down at all. But I think for the HUGELKULTUR bed, it's going to be perfect. It's going to add more green stuff to the heavy carbon stuff. This is the compost bin that we've been using to put our kitchen scraps in. So we mix it a little bit with wood chips and sawdust. And this side of it is pretty much full. And the idea is that once this is full, flip this around, then you start using the other compartment, and then the previous side is composting. Okay, so we got our compost bin over here on top of our pile, and now we'll use this slidey thing to dump it on the bottom, and then I'll rake it out to cover the whole bed.
To cover the whole bed. I love your optimism.
Well, it's gonna be very thin layer, but I think it will be useful to add to the layer of the wood chips and the woody material. So this is kind of pretty much mostly green from the kitchen scraps, and then all the woody material is mostly browns.
I think there's more than that though.
I think there's more than that.
I see some red cabbage.
So full it's not gonna come up.
People can see what we've been eating now. Carrots, obviously a banana.
Coffee filters.
Coffee filters. And if you see any kind of specks or anything in there, that's the sawdust and wood chips and things we've been adding as well. We haven't been eating sawdust and wood chips. That's just brown material we've been adding. There's our eggs. There's some eggs coming out there, fresh eggs, or egg shells. That's from our neighbours that we traded wood chips with. Does it smell?
Not really. Paper towels. I think there's the axis in the middle, and that makes it harder to get it out.
I think you should spin it really fast.
So it gets you? Oh, nothing happened.
I think that's pretty much empty. So
Yes.
that is the total kitchen scraps plus sawdust and mulch that we've mixed with it in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks. And the reason we using bundle instead of just like dumping it on the ground is because we have bears in this area, so we thought a composting bundle would be a little bit more protected in case they decide to come over here. So far we haven't seen them on our property.
And to be fair, I don't smell anything from that compost pile you just tipped out.
Yeah.
Right now, and I'm what, 6 feet from it. Now I'm not a bear, and I don't have bear level sense of smell, but we have tried to make sure that the ratio is good so it doesn't smell, and I think we've achieved that.
So next up I will put the layer of a native soil that we dug out under the bed. So it's not much left, but you know, we'll cover it a little bit. Now we're gonna go to the store and get topsoil compost mix that's suitable for raised gardens. Okay, so we are back from the store and we got about 2/3 of a yard.
I can't see, but it felt like it all just came off.
We got the soil unloaded into the bed and it actually went quicker than we thought it would. Utilizing 2 tarps in the truck bed and being able to slide one of the tarps off into the raised bed worked really well. Also, I'm happy that this bed is very close to our driveway so that we could back up the truck right to it. And now this garden bed is pretty much done. I'm very happy how this garden bed turned out, and hopefully it will grow some good veggies. So this is the first time actually buying soil for the garden, so I guess I've learned a few things. One is there are different kinds of soil. There is a seed starting mix, which is super lightweight for specifically starting the seeds. Then there's a potting soil mix, which is good for elevated garden beds and for like pots. And then there is a garden mix, which is essentially topsoil mixed with compost and maybe peat moss, which is what is this one. And also there is organic and non-organic soil, which it seems that sometimes the non-organic soil could contain styrofoam as a way to get it more what? I thought it's to provide like the water, like aerate it more, I guess that's the word. We checked their local, so this is a local soil compost manure mix from local farm. So I mean, this one doesn't contain styrofoam. That's what I was worried about. I don't know how big of a problem it is, but it's good to be aware of it nonetheless. So this log raised garden bed is pretty much finished. Just need to sow some things and put the wood chips on top. In the future, hopefully we can be completely self-sustainable and we can generate all our kind of planting and nutrition needs here on our homestead. But for now, to start, we have to buy something. We do have deer on our property. We have caught them many times on our game cameras. So what I will try for the deer protection is, I saw this deer netting on Amazon, so I'll buy that and we can just lay it over the whole garden bed. Because obviously right now this is way too small for a deer fence, but in the future we'll probably need a deer fence when we expand our garden. I hope you enjoyed watching our first forays into gardening, and if it's your first time here, make sure you are subscribed so that you can see how this HUGELKULTUR log raised bed develops over time.